Man, that is awful. Holy shit. As AI chatbots grow ever more powerful, people are experimenting with all kinds of uses for a robot that can spit out lots of coherent text. Some quite successful, others not so much. What is this? Oh, cool. And what's this? Not so much. Oh, yeah. You can read the ChatGPT version of The Winds of Winter right here and A Dream of Spring here. Heads up, they are exactly as long as you expect the book in that series to be. We gotta read it, man. Oh my god. What? Is it even coherent? Tywin Lannister, dwarf in exile, stood resolute upon the prow of the majestic vessel, the Wind's Grace. Its time-worn planks creaking beneath his weight. His mismatched eyes, one green as the emerald depths of the whispering wood, the other a glimmering pale amethyst, stared out into the boundless expanse of the narrow sea. As the ship cut through the frothing waves, the wind, bearing the salty tang of the ocean, lashed at his face, sending raven black locks of hair spiraling across his brow. It was a gusty tempest, much like the swirling turmoil that had beset his life ever since he had been forced to flee the shores of Westeros. The crimson light of the setting sun cast an ethereal glow upon Tyrion's countenance, accentuating the shadows that danced upon his visage, mirroring the darkness that had shadowed his soul for far too long. His lips, full and pursed in contemplation, were tinged with a touch of melancholy, the weight of his troubled past etched upon his face like the lines of a map charting the arduous journey he had undertaken. Lost in his ruminations, Tyrion found solace in the rhythmic cadence of the waves crashing against the ship's hull. Each thunderous collision reverberant. That's not what that says. Reverberated through his being, echoing the tumultuous path he had traversed. The sea, a fickle mistress, had become both his savior and his captor, carrying him away from the turmoil of his homeland, yet never relinquishing its grip upon his restless spirit. Amidst the roar of the wind and the ceaseless turmoil of the ocean, a voice emerged from behind him, its tone laced with both concern and familiarity. "Tyrion," came the gruff voice of Ser Jorah Mormont, his greying beard glimmering with flecks of gold in the fading light. "Your thoughts seem as stormy as the sea itself. What troubles your mind, my friend?" Honestly, it's been like multiple paragraphs of him talking about like it was very windy and the ocean was ocean. Tyrion turned to face the night, his gaze meeting Ser Jorah's piercing eyes. Storm grey and weathered by a life lived on the edge of peril, a wry smile tugged at the corner of his mouth, a glimmer of mischief flickering within his gaze. "Ah, Ser Jorah," he replied, his voice carrying a trace of both resignation and determination. "What troubles my mind? Why, the unending dance between fate and fortune, of course. It seems the gods have deemed me a pawn in their ever-twisting game. But fear not, my loyal knight, for I shall not be so easily swept away by the tides of destiny." Is this good? This is bad, right? This is not good. The ship, its sails billowing with the force of the wind, continued its relentless journey across the narrow sea, carrying with it the weight of Tyrion's past and the promise of an uncertain future. As the fading light bathed the world in hues of fiery amber and burnt sienna, it's our second reference to the sunset, Tyrion Lannister, the imp who had defied all expectations, remained steadfast upon the bow. He is on the bow, it's true. His resolve unyielding, ready to face whatever treacherous waters lay ahead. It's like repeating itself. It was a dark and dim and low-light, stormy, wet and rainy night after the sun had gone down. Guilt, an unyielding spectre, coiled itself around Tyrion's heart, constricting with every beat as if to punish him for the unforgivable act he had committed. The memory of that fateful night seared into his consciousness, a vivid tableau that played out relentlessly behind his weary eyes. The crossbow bolt, its iron tip gleaming with deadly intent, had found its mark
with chilling precision, piercing the very core of Tyrion's existence.
His father, the mighty Tywin Lannister, had fallen, his lifeblood seeping into the cold stone floor of the Tower of the Hand. It was a moment that forever stained Tyrion's soul, a darkness from which he would never truly escape. This is
awful. Within the recesses of his troubled mind, the echoes of Tywin's dying
breath whispered their accusatory refrain. The weight of that final exhalation, laden with disappointment, disdain, and a lifetime of unfulfilled expectations, bore down upon Tyrion's conscience like an anvil. It was a burden that defied his attempts to cast it aside, a reminder of the irreversible consequences of his actions. As guilt gnawed at his spirit, this is so bad. Tyrion beheld the shattered remnants of the realm he had left behind. The Seven Kingdoms, once a tapestry of power and influence, now lay fractured and broken, its lands marred by the relentless march of war and the hunger for dominance. A desolate wasteland stretched out before him, where once fertile fields had been reduced to ashen plains. The castle stood as charred skeletons amidst the smouldering ruins. The very fabric of Westeros had been rent asunder.
Fred, how much do we have to donate for you to stop? This is so terrible. I'm taking psychic damage.
It's the worst. I'm fascinated. There's like, why would you spend all this time rendering this out in AI? In the midst of his bleak tableau, that's the second tableau we've had in like the first page. Two figures emerged, their voices carrying across a desolate plain. Sir Davos Seaworth, his weathered face etched with lines faces etched with lines again, chat, of both wisdom and hardship, approached Tyrion with measured step. This is so bad. This is so bad. Oh my god. Let's skip. Let's skip to the end. Thoros, his flowing robes billowing gently in the faint breeze. How do you billow in a faint breeze? Stepped forward, his eyes burning with an inner fire. Beric is right, he declared, his voice carrying the weight of conviction. Our purpose transcends our own
well-being. It is a sacred duty, a calling to stand against the darkness
that engulfs this realm. As we face the perils that lay before us, let us remember that the legacy we leave behind is not measured in riches or titles, but in the hearts we touched and the lives we...
This is so bad. The torchlight flickered, casting dancing shadows upon the chamber
wall, as if it was reflecting the ebb and flow of the resolute spirits. Oh, this is actually giving me a headache. I'm getting a little bit lightheaded. Oh, this is so bad. Beric's voice rang out once more, its cadence resolute and unwavering. Is that the second time it's been resolute and unwavering? It's so bad. In the face of uncertainty and peril, we must remain united. The Brotherhood without banners is more than a name. It is a symbol of hope, a beacon that shines through the darkest of nights. Together, we shall ignite a fire that cannot be extinguished, a legacy of compassion, justice, and resistance. The chamber fell silent, the weight of their collective purpose settling upon their shoulders. With a nod of agreement, they set forth, their footsteps echoing through the stone halls as they embarked on their next chapter. Their resolve burned brightly, fueled by the knowledge that as long as injustice persisted, then the weak cried out for protection. The brotherhood without banners would stand unwavering. Again, unwavering, always unwavering. A testament to the indomitable spirit of those who fought for a better world. Man, that is awful. Holy shit.